So most of the beds here were created 15, 20 plus years ago.
Actually, more like about 17 years ago.
17 years
Almost,
ago?
yeah,
Okay.
17, 18 years ago. And I could run you through it. This is the area that we did the wood beds in. And this was actually a planted pine forest, probably planted in the 50s, I'm guessing. It must have been a little bit of pasture that had gotten really poor and eroded, and through some government program they were able to get pine tree seedlings and they planted them in rows. We thinned out about 75% of them. And they were still healthy then, and so the light levels were just right to grow woods beds. Well, now that they're dying, the light level has changed, and it's very difficult to maintain the woods beds. We're going to have to go to other areas where the shade canopy, the tree canopy is sufficient, provides sufficient shade in order to be able to grow these plants, because now we're getting things like blackberries and weeds coming up in such profusion that they're almost impossible to maintain.
But the basic process of creating them...
Literally did it by hand.
Yeah, by hand, using what, a broad fork and...
A broad fork, that's the only word I can think of.
Yeah.
It is.
Breaking up, clearing out an area, removing anything of value.
To put back in.
To put back in, yeah.
We didn't remove the soil, though.
No.
We took all the roots out. I mean, there were
big
a lot of
stones and rocks, and you probably at that time added old soil, potting soil.
And I might have added things like organic
leaf compost.
Yeah, organic fertilizer too, like plant tone.
Plant tone, bone meal, things like that.
Wood ashes.
Wood ash. All that would have been tilled into the soil, leveled out, edged with locust or something like that.
I used locust to edge the beds.
And then the seeds or starts were inserted into the soil and then largely left alone until the plants were ready for harvest. And then they've largely been left alone for, I don't know, the next 5, 10, 15 years. This is how long these beds basically were productive until we basically ran them out and would have to redo them. And some of them are
self-sustaining.
Yeah, some of them are so self-sustaining they probably will never need to be redone.
Because they seed in and they keep replenishing. The plants keep replenishing.
Yeah. And we're a little bit harsher on the woods beds in terms of collection because we made the beds and we could remake them if we needed to. The wild populations we're gentler with. So this is an example of a bed that's almost used up. There's not a lot left in here. Some shooting star, but this section's got not much. So what I would usually do is clear out everything, anything that's worth anything, pot up or relocate, and then renovate this whole bed. Re-till it, re-add anything that needs to be added, and then reseed and replant with whatever I decide would best work here. There's a lot more sunlight here than there used to be because this pine has died. And so this area is much more sunny, and it may not be worth renovating because of that. I can't really grow woodland things here anymore. So this bed was renovated last June. I need to weed it a little bit. And so I brought old potting soil in here and tilled it in with the native soil, added buckets of wood ash, a little lime and plant tone, and then it was sowed with dwarf ginseng seed, as well as a few other things. But that was the main reason that I created this bed, was to sow dwarf ginseng seeds.